Hey everyone, welcome to the channel, and today we're talking about health insurance options when you're self-employed or if you don't have any kind of health insurance options at work, or your work health insurance plan is very, very expensive. So I'm kind of in this boat where I'm self-employed. I have to buy health insurance for me and my family. I've been self-employed for the last 4.5 years. Just a little background on me. Now, I work in the health insurance industry. I'm actually a health insurance broker. I work with mainly Medicare plans for the last 10 years. I've been licensed since 2006, so I've worked with group individual. I've done long-term care, disability, life insurance. So I've worked in the whole spectrum of kind of life and health insurance sales. And so for the last 10 years, I've primarily done Medicare health insurance plans. So I deal with health insurance on a daily basis. And for me and my family, when I had to look at health insurance plans when I wasn't working for a company anymore and I had to buy my own health insurance, I did not buy a traditional health insurance plan. And that's the point of the video. And I want to walk you through how a traditional health insurance plan and the pricing works versus another option, a health sharing plan would work. Let's get into it. All right, let's go through some of the numbers because really this is all about numbers when it comes to pricing on these health insurance plans. So this is an example. I went on today and got a quote from the cheapest health insurance company in my area, and this is what was quoted. So this is a traditional health insurance plan through a traditional health insurance company. It's got a network, it's got deductible, it's got an out-of-pocket maximum, it has co-insurance. All of those are health insurance terms, and we'll talk about those in another video. But the cheapest plan I could find had an $8,700 individual deductible, $17,400 family deductible, which means once one person meets this, they're 100% covered. But if another person needs care from the family, you'd have to meet another $8,700 for a total of $17,400 deductible. Then you're 100% covered after you meet this amount. So the maximum out of pocket, the MOOP on this plan is going to be $17,400. So worst case scenario, I get hurt or one of my kids gets sick or hurt and have to go to the hospital. Two people from the family, I have a family of 6, so my wife and 4 kids. So we have a pretty good chance of maybe having to meet that maximum out of pocket of $17,400. So if we meet that means if we have to get maximum care, if we have a bad year medically speaking, we're going to have to come out $17,400. But let's also talk about the monthly premium. The monthly cost for this plan is $1,001. This is as of June 2022. They actually were more expensive when I looked at them in the past, but still over $1,000 for a very high deductible, max out of pocket plan. So let's kind of combine these numbers here. So the monthly cost, $1,001 per month times 12 months is going to be $12,012, plus the potential of having to come out with the max out of pocket is $17,400. My yearly exposure on a health insurance plan, traditional health insurance plan, is $29,412 for this particular plan. Almost $30,000 I'm going to have to pay if we have a bad year medically speaking. If we have to get a lot of care, myself or any member of my family have to, this is what we would have to pay in premium and the maximum out of pocket. Almost $30,000. That's crazy to think that I'd have to come up with that much money to get the care that I would need for my family. So now this is based on not qualifying for any of the Obamacare subsidies. So there's subsidies or advanced premium tax credits available for those who have incomes within a certain range. If your income's within a certain range, you can get discounts on this $1,000 monthly premium plan. And this can be reduced down. But if your income's just slightly above that or any amount over the premium, the salary or your income range, then you're going to have to pay the full amount. So if you fall in this category where you have to pay the full monthly premium on your plan, or you don't get health insurance through work, or your work plan is very expensive. If you're paying $1,000 a month for a work plan for a family, there's other options out there. And I want to talk about the option that I went with. So let's talk about the option that I decided, and I've been doing this for the last 4.5 years. All right, so what I've been doing for the last 4.5 years is a program called CHM, which stands for Christian Healthcare Ministries Health Sharing Program. And this is not a traditional health insurance plan. It's called a health sharing program. And how it works is you pay a monthly amount to the program based on how many people are in your family. For example, I pay $675 a month for this CHM plan. It's not a premium, it's just called a gift amount that I pay every month. And how it works is you don't technically have insurance when you go to the hospital, the doctor, the pharmacy. You just say, I'm cash pay. I'm a cash pay person. And you pay whatever the cash pay amount is that you can work out as far as the negotiation is concerned. And then whatever you pay, so I am the gold level on my CHM amount. There's gold, silver, bronze, and the gold level plus the brother keeper amount, $675. This is actually the most that you can pay with this program. So if you go down to a silver level or a bronze level, you pay a lot less than that. But with the gold level, how it works is they pay any bill that is over $500. They pay the full amount to me. So for example, over the last 4.5 years, we've had probably only 4 instances where we've had to submit a bill or a claim to CHM. For example, I had a shoulder issue. I had some shoulder pain and I didn't know what was going on, so I went and got an MRI done. I found a place that would do an MRI for $400. I paid the $400, and I found out they had a small tear in my rotator cuff, and so I started going to a physical therapy office to get physical therapy. I had to get physical therapy I probably went twice a week for a month. I paid $75 each time. That was their cash pay price. So I paid that. I had my $400 MRI bill, plus I had several physical therapy bills added up over the course of a month, and that was well over $500. So for that event, I was able to submit all of my bills to CHM, and they paid the full amount. So that particular instance, I didn't have to pay anything. I had to pay out of pocket first, and then I got reimbursed, is how that worked. So on the gold level, you only pay, CHM is going to pay any bill or occurrence that is more than $500. Another example, my wife went into an urgent care. She was having some abdominal pain. She went in urgent care. They did an ultrasound. They had a radiologist read the ultrasound, and she saw the urgent care provider. Nothing serious. There was nothing really needed. But that equaled about $1,200 when it came to the diagnostic fees, the physician fees, the radiologist fees. That equaled $1,200. So we paid the $1,200 bill that we got, and then we submitted those bills, the claims and the statements to CHM, and it's about 3-4 months later, they gave us a check. They sent a check for $1,200 to cover the full amount for that visit. Now, the few things that CHM doesn't cover is like preventive care, so getting like an annual physical or children's well check or vaccines, any kind of birth control, things like that a traditional health insurance might cover, CHM is not covering. So when we have to take our kids in for a well check or get their immunizations, we've been paying out of pocket on those, and that's been pretty minimal. We probably only pay between $300 to $400 a year in out of pocket expenses that we don't submit to CHM, just because they're less than. Not only are they less than the $500, but some of those things are not covered, preventive services. So if we look at the cost here, I'm paying $675 a month here. I've got the gold level, the Brother Keeper program that you can add on as an extra, I think it's an extra $40 to $60 a month. I think it's $60 a month for this. But what that does is it raises the lifetime limit to unlimited sharing. So it simply means that if we had under the gold level, you're only covered per illness at $125,000. Well, the Brother Keeper eliminates that cap, and you get unlimited lifetime coverage under the Brother Keeper. So $675 is what we pay. So our yearly expense, if we're comparing the two here, $29,000 on a traditional plan versus $8,100 here, plus I would probably say another $400 in, so I would probably say $8,500, because there's about $400 a year that would be covered over here as far as well checks and preventive services that aren't covered here that we have to pay out of pocket for about $400. Getting our flu vaccines and just getting child well checks and just getting physicals and things like that. So if you look at the numbers, $8,500 versus $29,000, there's a huge difference. Huge difference. CHM has been a great program for us. Again, I've used it for the last 4.5 years. I sell health insurance plans. I still choose to use this program. It's the savings. It's even if this deductible, even if the monthly price, even if the monthly cost was the same, let's say this was $600 and this was $675, this would still make sense because of this huge max out of pocket that these traditional insurance plans leaves you exposed to a lot of out of pocket costs. This plan, my only exposure is the monthly premium that I pay. The $675 a month is really all I pay. Because if I go to the hospital and I'm there for a week and I'm in ICU and I have procedures and tests and surgeries, follow-up care, that all falls within one occurrence. And because that occurrence is going to be more than $500, I can submit it to CHM and they'll pay the full amount beyond $500. We haven't had really any large bills like that. Our largest bill was like $3,200. I had to get I had a vein procedure in my leg done. That, interestingly enough, in traditional insurance plan, when I was on a plan like this through an employer, they denied the procedure. With CHM, I went and I got the procedure done cash pay, and I was just expecting it to come out of pocket of this amount. I paid $3,200 for this vein procedure in my leg. I submitted to CHM, and 4 months later, they sent me a check for the full amount that I paid out of pocket for this procedure. I was floored. I was so happy. It just made me happy that I'm part of this kind of program. That I found this kind of program that has been such a blessing for my family and I, because we're not exposed to huge out-of-pocket costs. Now, what are the downsides to the CHM, the Christian Healthcare Ministries plans? Well, the downside is you don't technically have insurance. So when you go into a provider's office, you're kind of like, hey, I don't have insurance. So there's just kind of that, you're kind of navigating things on your own a little bit more. I'm a big DIYer. I like doing things around the house and doing DIY things on my car and fixing things and things like that. So I don't mind doing DIY stuff. And when it comes to my healthcare, this is kind of like a DIY healthcare as far as like finding the providers, working through some of the billing stuff. It's worth it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a hassle, but you save so much when it comes to the actual claims, process and what you're paying out of pocket. Yeah, you have to pay the bill and then you get reimbursed, but that's not really that big of a deal. If it was a larger bill, let's say I had a hospital bill that was $20,000 and that was what it was reduced down to, you can call up the hospital and just say, hey, you know what, I need to work out a payment plan. Just pay the absolute minimum monthly payment you can. And then when CHM processes the claim and they send you the check, then you just pay off the balance of what you owe and you reimburse yourself the full amount. Now, if you go like silver or bronze level, the amount that you pay, kind of the deductible amount would be higher. So this one's $500, but the other ones are thousands and $3,000 and so forth. They go up. I always wanted the gold level because this was always pretty reasonable. When we first started 4.5 years ago, this was in the $500 range, and it's gone up. And understandably so. Healthcare costs have been skyrocketing. Everything's gone up in price. It's still very reasonable for what you get. I feel like I have a plan where I pay $675 a month. Yeah, it's not free. Yeah, it's a little pricey, but as far as what the alternative is, and the fact that I'm not exposed to any large hospital bill or really huge out-of-pocket cost, is awesome on this plan. So the point of this video, guys, is would I recommend this plan? Absolutely. And I do recommend it because with my job, I'm running into folks all the time, and I'm helping folks with their health insurance programs, and people are looking for affordable solutions. And so I always tell my clients about this. Hey, look into CHM because this has been a great program for me and my family. Look at it for yours. Now, it may not make sense for everyone. For example, if your income's in a certain range and you're able to qualify for Obamacare subsidies, these advanced premium tax credits, well, it's going to bring the monthly premium down over on a traditional plan. And so this may not make sense, but if you have coverage through work, and if your coverage through work is really expensive, if it's more than this, or you don't get coverage through work, or you're self-employed, or you're an independent contractor, and you have to buy your own insurance, this is a great program because not only is it reasonable. Now, they base the premium on units, so there's 3 units is the maximum. You have one person, you're one unit, one person, or like let's say a husband and wife, for example, that's 2 units. And kids only count as 1 unit. So I have me, my spouse, and my kids. I have 4 kids. That counts as 3 units. So it's for the gold level, it's $205 per unit. So that's $615 plus the brother's keepers. How that works. So if you have less people, but if let's say you have your husband, wife, and 1 child, it's still going to be the same amount. So you don't have to pay more per child, which is good in my case. I have 4 kids. So that's good. So the premium, this is actually the maximum that you can pay through this program, which I'm paying, and I'm glad to do that because it's been so great in our situation when we've the few times that we've used it over the four years, like the examples that I gave, when we've used it, it's worked out great. To get that check in the mail 3 or 4 months later and get reimbursed the full amount for what we had to pay out, it's awesome. It's awesome. So, guys, if this was helpful for you, I would really appreciate it. I'm leaving down in the description below my referral link. Now, I don't sell this plan. CHM doesn't use health insurance agents like me to sell this plan. I don't sell this plan, but they do work off referrals. So, like, the word of mouth is how this plan kind of gets traction and how people learn about it, and people sharing their stories like what I'm doing right here. If you found this helpful, if you found this informative, if you want to look into CHM, use my referral link down below. It doesn't cost anything extra. They just send me, they give me credit for sending people or referring them to their program to learn about it. I think they give me like a month free or something. So if you sign up through my referral link. So if you found this helpful, informative, use my referral link. Check them out. It's been a great program for me and my family. I really enjoyed it, and I'm going to continue shouting their praise because they just have been such a great company to work with. There's tens of thousands of members on this program. I was kind of leery at first because I'm a traditional health insurance guy. That's what I sell all day long for my job. This is kind of a different concept, but I've been on it for 4.5 years. I've seen how it actually works. It works great. It works as it's described. Yeah, it's a little different than a traditional health insurance plan. You kind of have to wrap your mind around that of like, hey, I don't really have insurance. I have this health sharing plan. Well, you have to kind of get used to that. You have to adjust to that. But once you've gotten past that point, it's great. It works fantastic. It's saved us a ton of money as far as the premium is concerned, and I'm grateful for that. Anyways, guys, well, thanks for watching the video. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to this channel. There's going to be more great content like this on this channel. And leave your comment down below. Use that referral link, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks.